Aloha, beautiful golden galactic celestial cosmic family on the planet. Bliss here for a little love stream, a little share. Today on the Dream Spell calendar, the calendar that Jose Arguelles brought through, we enter the Blue Eagle Wave Spell. It's a 13-day period in the calendar. So we're going to talk about calendars a little bit, and we're going to talk about the significance of this day from April 23rd until the 6th of May. Okay, even though time isn't real and doesn't exist, aspects of our physical body are connected to the Gregorian calendar. That's the Roman Greco calendar of 12 months. Some months have 28 days, some have 30, some have 31. And it's a calendar that is not connected to any cosmic cycles. It's not connected to nature itself. So a lot of the indigenous calendar carriers on the planet are carrying calendars that are connected to the patterns of the sun, the patterns of the planet, the patterns of the moon, and so on. And so because nature works like a perfect cosmic clock, the Gregorian calendar does not. And so when people live inside of the Gregorian calendar, a calendar that is based on fallacy, it basically unplugs the consciousness from its connection to natural cycles with nature. Nature is a harmonic, and it is miraculous in its ways. And so superabundance is connected to our capacity to be connected to nature itself. That's why that clock was connected in such a way, basically to disconnect the consciousness from its superabundance, from its connection to source, which is why in the fictional fiction on the planet that we were living on, there was a big divergence between the indigenous people who stayed connected to the earth, to Pachamama, to the consciousness of nature itself, and the Western world. And that's why the Western world and the motives and the philosophies of the Western world have been very devastating and disconnected from how to live in harmony with nature itself. So why would we care about all these things? Because when we come back into alignment with nature, we unlock our superabundance itself, which means we are natural free energy devices. And we begin to open up and turn on ourselves in such a way that our physical bodies access cosmic energy. And we can begin to draw on that cosmic energy in such a way that when we learn how to direct our thoughts, we learn how to hold coherence inside of ourselves. And then we learn how to focus our thoughts. We create the reality from the center of the self. We are no longer part of a consent, which is mostly an unconscious consent creation that we have been unplugging from. And we restore ourselves to the true miraculous nature of nature, which is that time no longer equals money, time equals art, and then ultimately time falls away. So a lot of us are going through massive shifts on the planet, conscious or unconscious, of knowing what is going on, because we are made of the earth. We are made of the stars, and so we are made of all of these things that are in connection with the natural cycles themselves. So I put some links for the Harmonic Convergence Facebook page, which kudos to them for all of the miraculous posts they keep putting out to keep people aligned with natural time, and to Jose Arguelles, who brought forth his calendar of synchronicity to kind of bridge the indigenous teachings with the minds of the Western world. So a lot of the indigenous teachings actually have always held this wisdom inside of themselves, which has kept them connected to the cosmos, which has them be cosmic supernatural beings themselves. I have been a bundle carrier for the Star Knowledge bundles of the Lakota Dakota for since 2014, and the Star Knowledge bundles are all about the 52,000-year-old codes to activate the earth and the 13 moons and the teachings that come with them. It's kind of like the Star Knowledge Bundles remind us that the earth is a school. And the Star Knowledge Bundles have the teachings from what you might call grade 1 to grade 13 and teach us how to excel and graduate from the Earth School. And so it brings back truth to the remembrance of our consciousness of why we're really here, which is to turn on these magnificent physical light ships, alchemize them from carbon to crystalline, alchemize them into light themselves, which unlocks our supernatural capacities, and that's where all the fun turns on. Okay, if this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. There's a little share button down there, and it can be shared right now. So today's transmission is just a quick share to say that the Harmonic Convergence Facebook page is sharing that today we entered the Blue Eagle wave spell. It's a wave spell of 13 days. And what they are inviting, what they say this wave spell is about, is to elevate our mind, elevate our consciousness in such a way that we bring our highest visions to fruition. So just like the architecture of building a house, first one just starts to even get the idea that maybe they want to build a house. And so then they start to dream about it. And maybe it's a couple, and they dream about what they would have in their house, and they go for dinners and they talk about it, and they think about the things that they don't like in their current house or they want to change from their current house. This is exactly the way creation works. And we get better and better at bringing all of the mechanics into place such that it becomes instant. So these are kind of the layers and mechanics to understand in such a way that we can begin to remove ourselves from the distraction of the external world. The external world is designed at the genetic shadow frequency to distract one from understanding the purpose of this world. Take what resonates, throw the rest away, and maybe this is planting some seeds for some people today. The genetics themselves have a game embedded inside of them, and at the shadow frequency there are 3 parts of the genes games to stop a spirit inside of human body from activating the form into light, which is the Merkaba, which ignites us to our supernatural capacities to move in and out of time, space at will. Think golden apple, produce golden apple in the palm of the hand, traverse the cosmos, go to the Pleiades for blueberry, spirulina, popcorn, do all that cool stuff as well. Okay, so from the level of the genetics at the shadow frequency have 3 things inside of them that will stop the spirit from activating this synergy inside of our physical form. The 3 stock codons are called, and we're referring to Richard Rudd's Gene Keys book. We can also go to the I Ching and many other systems, but Richard Rudd describes it in a modern day version to understand these pieces. All I'm doing is explaining the mechanics of the game of the mergence of our spirit and our physicality and the dissolution of the ego and the transcendence in the game, like snakes and ladders, so we can see it in such a way it starts to make sense, okay, of what is really going on here. So the 3 stop codons in the genetics are forgetfulness, which means we forget how many times we've done the same thing again and again and again and again and again and again and again. The same patterns play out until one begins to remember they've done this over and over again. The second stop codon in the genetics is called distraction, and that's what the external world is about. We're not saying the external world, the fictional fiction, is bad. We're just inviting the awareness to begin to find more coherence inside of the self. Cross the wrists, clasp the hands, cross the ankles, close the eyes, and deep breathe That brings more coherence inside of the self because it brings the two hemispheres of the brain together. Simple little technique. If you're feeling stressed out, if you feel confused, if your mind is racing, with all this transformation that's going on, you can't figure out what is going on. Just try this with me. Cross the wrists, clasp the hands, cross the ankles. Close the eyes, deep breathe until you experience a mental, emotional, or physical shift. And when you do, you open your eyes, and you can use this 1,000,000 times a day because it works every time. And it's been validated through brain maps to bring coherence, to bring that stillness and that peace inside of the body beyond the monkey mind. And for a lot of people, the monkey mind is really on high alert right now because the planetary body itself is turning from terrestrial carbon to celestial, a star. She's turning to light, and we're made of her, and we are riding on this mothership. It's like being on a wave. If you're on a tsunami wave and you're this big and the wave is 100 feet tall, the elements of nature are more powerful than the personality ego. So it's the same with the transformation that's happening with the earth and the Schumann resonance. The heartbeat of the earth keeps leaping. It's a measured scientific data fact. It keeps leaping and pulsing, and the sun is sending all of these solar flares out, which are activating the DNA inside of us. So when we understand these mechanics, and this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. Little share button there. So if we understand the mechanics, we can, it's like if you're getting pummeled around in the water, if you're getting pummeled around by a wave and someone comes by and goes, hey dude, here's the mechanics of how to surf it instead of getting crushed by the wave. That's what these transmissions are. These transmissions are sharing the mechanics so one can get on the wave instead of being confused and in doubt and worried and concerned and pummeled around by the wave. Once we're on the wave and we hold coherence, we get in the sweet spot, and the sweet spot is where all the miracles are at. The sweet spot is where the miraculous is at. So we want to get there because it's good, it's yummy, it's delicious. It's the thing that we all crave. It's just like when an athlete is in the zone. They don't have to work when they're in the zone because they've accessed 0 point. They become a clear conduit. And now the cosmic energy is flowing through them. So they get to experience what it feels like to be divine. They get to experience their divinity. It's just like when the famous world-class ballerina is doing the best ever plie. Her ego has gone away. The divine, the cosmos, the cosmic energy, 0 point, the sweet spot is flowing through her body. It's ecstatic. It's bliss. So we're just sharing the mechanics again to contemplate that may be helpful to align with this blue eagle wave spell. Even though time isn't real and doesn't exist, even though days aren't real and don't exist. When we say that, we mean from a certain level of consciousness, as our consciousness in our form begins to transcend its bondage, its attachment to time and gravity. Now it is sourcing more and more from the cosmic field. So everything requires less and less effort, less and less work. We just start to become this incredible electromagnetic magnet that draws the miraculous to us or outpictures the miraculous around us. That is the sweet spot. Okay, so the blue wave spell, or the blue eagle spell, is this 13-day period from today, April 23rd, until the 6th of May, according to the Harmonic Convergence website, which follows the calendar of synchronicity, I like to call it, created by Jose Arguelles, which follows the 13 moon cycles, which brings us back into alignment with the cosmic clock. The metaphor of the Gregorian calendar would be like, it's like this perfect metaphor. The Gregorian calendar that is not connected to nature itself is like the surfer that is continually paddling out to the wrong spot to catch the wave. So while everyone else is catching every single wave, that surfer never catches a wave, because you got to be in the right place. That's what these calendars of the indigenous do. They put us back in the right spot to always catch the wave. The Gregorian calendar puts us in the spot where we never catch the wave. So if we are aligned with that Gregorian calendar, then that places us in a place where we are very vulnerable to being taken advantage of or manipulated at the shadow frequency by our very own ego. It's not outside of us. It's by the genetics themselves. Because at the shadow frequency, the genetics will keep us bound to time and gravity. They will keep us in a place where we cannot unlock all of the hidden treasures inside our DNA. It's like each person is playing this internal game, spirit and form, gifted the most incredible technology ever, and then placed inside the form. And these are part of the teachings, the mechanics of how to activate the form, how to unify the spirit in the form, to actually be a part of the game. When people don't even know the mechanics of creation, the mechanics of activation, the mechanics of alchemy, that the true gold is the alchemy from within, to turn the body on, to turn the carbon off, to turn on the silica. That's what holds all the memory of our computer, is a tiny little silica chip. It's crystal. So we're learning, we're remembering, because we didn't get taught this in grade 1, how to turn the body on. Once the silica turns on, once the crystalline part of the body turns on, then another phase shift into light. Just like water can be frozen, it can be boiling, it can be vapor, steam, it can be ether. All these levels of the body, and the consciousness can be inside this physicality. Ascension is not about leaving physicality, it's about remembering how to turn the light chip on. It's like, another metaphor the guidance is showing is like if you'd always wanted to fly a plane, and so then your higher self goes, oh, okay, we'll get you a plane. And then you just sit in the plane. You sit in the cockpit of the plane with no understanding of the mechanics of how to turn the plane on. Many, many humans in the fictional fiction don't even know they're inside a plane. Never mind that the plane has the capacity to be turned on and do super cool things. So these mechanics are just for contemplation, for ponderance, to go, maybe there's more going on, and maybe there's more potential inside of me, because superheroes on our planet always show us we have more and more potential inside of us to do incredible things. So we just have to know how to turn it all on. That's what this transmission is about. And back to the Blue Eagle spell. So the Blue Eagle spell, when the Harmonic Convergence page is posting about what this is about, and they're saying it's about elevating our mind to bring through our highest vision inside of this window in time. Now, we say time isn't real and doesn't exist at a certain level of consciousness. At the level of the body consciousness, if the body is not turned on, or the body is in some level of turning itself on, it still has some connection to time. That is why the 13 moon calendars bring us back to the right relationship with time. They bring us back to that sweet spot on the wave where we catch the wave every time. Every miracle in time. Okay, so this is a sweet spot moment, miracle in time. And if you follow these calendars, and you follow their rhythms every day, and you seed, just like planting a garden. If you put the seeds in the garden in the middle, in the winter or the fall, unless they're fall growing seeds, some are. But if you put the seeds in the garden in the middle of winter, they are very likely to not succeed. And so this calendar, the Harmonic Convergence website, the calendar that Jose Arguelles brought through, the dream spell, assists us to place ourselves in the sweet spot to always catch the wave. That's why one of the things is called this calendar of synchronicity, because it puts us in the sweet spot to always catch the cosmic and energetic waves of superabundance, of the miraculous, and shed the heaviness that has come with the shadow frequencies of the egoic consciousness that has been woven into the physical form. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I've shared a lot of love streams about the mitochondrial DNA recently. And you can find them all in my videos or on my Unity Transmissions YouTube page. And I put the link for Unity Transmissions here for the YouTube page. If you want to go there, please go there, like and subscribe, because when we get 1,000 subscribers, we can do more things. So you can find all the videos there, and you can contemplate what is in the mitochondrial DNA. What I share in those videos is how the 2-strand DNA is like an overlay, so it's woven into the actual fabric of the physical human form in such a way that it creates an overlay, it creates a barrier for the consciousness to not see beyond the veils, to be bound to its ego. The ego is woven in through time and gravity to hold one down, to have an experience. And once one starts to wake up and go, I think there's more going on. I think there's more than just this. I think there's more than what I'm experiencing from my ego, my personality. And that's when the fire begins to wake up inside of us, and we start to question, we start to search, we start to ponder. We start to go on an inner and outer search to find the answers. So this is kind of like a condensed version of some of the pieces that may stimulate the lights to go off, so to speak, inside of the consciousness. Go, there's a lot going on in this transmission right now, and I am learning a lot. Okay, back to the blue eagle wave spell, which in time is 13 days. So for whatever part of our physical body is still enmeshed in the fabric of time and gravity, the egoic consciousness, that overlay, this wave spell of 13 days in time on the Gregorian calendar can be marked from April 23rd to May 6th, is a very important portal in time. A hugely important portal in time. And in the fictional fiction, most of the world is distracted. Because as we say it, the shadow frequency, that's what the ego does. There's no victim, there's no victimizer, there's no one playing dirty games. It's just that the consciousness has not woken up inside of the body to transcend the influence of the ego itself. So it's like the ego is in the driver's seat of the airplane that the cosmic parents bought for us, called the Merkaba. So as we start to wake up and we trip over the ego again and again, we have the forgetfulness, the distraction. The final piece is vanity, which is that the ego convinces us that we are it, that it is us, that it is where we cap out. That's what vanity is about. It's the final stop codon. It's the 12th gene. And it's the ego can be very sly and very convincing to show us that we are ascended in spiritual googly gawk. Spiritual googly whatever. Because it's not about spiritual talk. Transcending of the ego can be done by anyone in any bloodline, any shape, any size, any color. It has to do with love. And what we say love is at the level of the genetic game. Love is coherence. Love is neutrality. Love is our capacity to collapse the polarity, the duality, the belief that there is something outside of us and inside of us, that there's a separation. Love is our capacity to hold neutrality, 0 point coherence in such a way that it stills the wave. So one of the things whales do, whales have those huge tails, and if they are searching for food and they find a school of fish, one of the things they do is they take that big tail, it's called a fluke, and they smash the surface of the water, and it literally stops everything. It stops the wave. It stops vibration. It's called, like, the fish gets stunned. Because in polarity, everything operates on vibration. Beyond duality, beyond the personality, beyond the ego, beyond the fictional fiction, we go beyond vibration. There's levels of vibration, there's levels of frequency. Pure source consciousness is beyond vibration and beyond frequency. So we begin to discover that the true meaning of love is our capacity to hold coherence while the ego personality is triggered, is reacting in a good way, bad way, whatever we call positive and negative. It just reacts rather than responds. Coherence, this is what all the masters teach, whether it's Bruce Lee or, Babaji. Coherence is key. Coherence aligns us with 0 point or the cosmic energy. And from that place, we are restored to pure potential. So the whole journey, every time the emotional body kicks up or the mental body is on monkey mind, we could have a talk with someone outside of us and try and resolve it from that level, or we could just go within, because we are accelerating so quickly now. Less talk, less need to resolve it outside of the self, more advantage to just find coherence within. That's why in this Blue Eagle spell, on the Harmonic Convergence page, they're inviting us to elevate the mind. Elevating the mind means to take the mind out of the monkey mind, which is why we share cross your wrists, clasp your hands, cross your ankles, close your eyes, and deep breathe until you feel a shift. Again and again and again. Is because just like building a muscle, the more miracles in time we do this, the more the ego personality dissolves away. If this love stream is inspiring, please share it with that little share button right now that's called gifting. The more times we bring coherence, however we find coherence, for some people it's riding a bike, because moving both sides of the body, going for a walk, going for a run, going for a swim, uses both sides of the body alternately. And that makes these two hemispheres come together and work together in one brain. It's kind of like, if you put people on a boat, a row, and they're rowing, both sides of the rowers on the boat have to work together for the boat to go straight. If the paddlers on the left are stronger, if the left brain is stronger, what happens in a boat? If the paddlers are stronger on the left, the boat is going to curve to the right. If the paddlers are stronger on the right, the boat is going to curve to the left. So we have to get the paddlers inside our brain to work together for the boat to go straight. And just like paddlers know on a team, like the dragon boat teams, when everyone is in coherence, paddling together, it becomes effortless. Again, this is about catching the cosmic wave. So the quickest place right now is just to go in, go in, go in. Doesn't mean don't talk to friends, doesn't mean don't try to figure it out. We're just saying that at the level of trying to resolve things and figure it out, on the level of the ego, actually causes more confusion, frustration, and pain when things are intensifying. When the transformation on the planet is happening really, really fast. It's like if two surfers had collided with each other out in the water, and now a massive wave was coming in, and they're hanging out trying to resolve. Hey dude, you banged into, no I didn't, you bumped into me. And they're having this conversation down here while half the ocean is being sucked out for a massive tsunami wave that's coming in. And these guys are hanging out while everyone else is paddling out as fast as they can to get beyond that wave before it breaks. So this is the miracle coordinate to go within. Be those paddlers that are using all their focus, intention, and strength, like Jedis, to get beyond that massive wave before it comes in. For those trying to resolve it down here, for those being distracted down at the bottom of the wave right now, for anyone who surfs or anyone who's played in the wave, when that big wave comes in and it starts sucking everything out, you go like, oh, wow. You start paddling as fast as you can, or you get ready to duck dive. For those distracted, this is a window of opportunity to get in alignment with what is coming. Because as the energy and vibration and frequency are really all the same word, and this really is beyond energy. The transformation that is happening and coming quickens. That's why so many people continue to have the experience of the falling away of time, because the final phase of awakening is the transcendence of the belief in time. Second last phase, resolving, dissolving, purifying, and cleansing from all parasitic energy, parasites and entities, meaning energy that is diabolic, energy that in wave patterns, thought patterns within that keep crashing the hard drive again and again, to not be able to sustain a higher, we'll use the word vibration, a higher vibration of the body and the consciousness within. So it kind of goes up and down, up and down. Right now we want to be in a state of sustained alignment with nature, to catch this wave, which is like a portal, to literally, it's like the portal is opening. Step through into our true superabundance, which is miraculous because it's all about synchronicity. And suddenly no one has to think about bills or the bank or all those things that are designed at the level of the distraction. They're designed by the egos themselves running through the human mechanism, which is why we say there's no victim, victimizer. The game is the same for everyone, to get beyond the cap of the ego itself. So we are inviting contemplation to look inside ourselves, see where we might be distracted right now. And a lot of distraction comes because the mind is still trying to figure its way out. A lot of people are very energetically awakened. They're just still operating from the mind, and the mind cannot figure it out. Einstein said, the mind cannot resolve the problem inside of the same thinking that created it. So this is why go within rather than trying to bash it out down here at the base of this expanding wave. Because the mind cannot figure out what is happening. And that's why a lot of spiritual people, we're just using that word, a lot of awakening people get capped out. Because they're still going by the instructions and the rules. Oh, it says right here on this paper, you have to do this, you have to do that. This is how my parents did it. This is how the government says, this is how the borders and the boundaries and all of that says to do it. The thing to understand is this transfiguration, transformation is happening from the inside of ourselves, and it's happening inside of everyone's cells simultaneously. So it's an inside transfiguration, inside transformation, inside job, joy of being, joy of bliss. Just like a million times everyone's used the metaphor of the caterpillar. It dissolves into plasma from within itself once it goes into, it's even before it goes into the cocoon phase. So the distraction can take one away from their capacity to be very focused in your daily practice, focused in your physical practice. Do you have a physical practice? Do you do yoga? Do you do meditation? Do you do cold showers? Have you ever tried fasting? Have you ever used the simple things that all of the masters, we don't like that word, all of the specialists, all of the Jedis have done? All of those things are to assist us to recognize how distracted the mental monkey mind can be, how distracting the emotional body can be, because the mental and emotional, if they're not connected, is one day mental, next day emotional. Who can resolve this for us? No one outside of ourselves. Our experiences in our life are the opportunity to discover those places inside of ourselves, to keep Jediing the light, to say, wow, I just had this experience right now. I am feeling inside of myself. We want to feel into the sensorium of the body. What are we feeling? Not from the level of emotion, just physically sensing and feeling. And then can we say, I am feeling this. You know, maybe someone triggers us. Go into the, we can say I'm feeling angry, but let's get beyond the angry, beyond the word, because there's very little information in the word. The word is connected, is attached to a story that has it's like volumes, one word. Volumes, bloodlines, ancestry, the world, human consciousness. Okay, I'm feeling angry. Now, can I get beyond that word and go into the sensation? Okay, well, what is angry? Oh, wow, it's like really tingly in my stomach. It's tingly in my chest. I'm feeling these sensations. That's the sensorium we want to get to, is that sensing, feeling sensation. Now, once we're into the sensation, can we say, I'm feeling this tingling, I'm feeling heat, I'm feeling combustion, I'm feeling tension. Now can we say the words and? I'm curious. This is cosmic tantra. Tantra is about being curious. Tantra is a word that has been used in many ways, and we will say from having a very, very famous brain map, when we's consciousness transcended all these levels and layers and experienced its own omnipresence at 1,000,000 hertz of frequency plus, we're coming to this body. What we experienced beyond emotion, beyond the personality, beyond feelings, even beyond love. What I experienced, what we experienced, was two things. Wholeness, like everything was existing from inside of me, and curiosity. That is cosmic tantra. So can we continually go within to the sensations, to the sensorium? And when we get there, can we add the words, I'm feeling this and I'm curious? Because I promise you, the moment that you do, you have just experienced cosmic tantra. And you will experience a transformation on the level of your physicality that is called alchemy. And your consciousness will never come back down into the same body again. The body is transforming in time, mechanically, miraculous step by miraculous step, and sometimes they're huge. So back to the distraction piece and the ego. This love stream is inspiring. Please share it. That's called gifting. Back to this blue eagle wave spell, this 13 days, is that when we come back to coherence, these 13 days from the perspective of the Gregorian calendar, which isn't real and doesn't exist. No, cancel clear. In the fictional fiction, it's real and it does exist, and it, as we shared before, doesn't align the consciousness with the perfect sweet spot to catch this wave that's come in. So, coherence is key. Less trying to figure it out down here and share our emotions and our feelings right now. Less about needing to communicate and talk. Why? Because the metaphor we gave. The surfers right now are at the bottom of a wave that is building, that is sucking the cosmic ocean out. And if we get stuck and distracted down here trying to figure anything out right now, we're missing the opportunities, we said, to paddle on our board as fast and hard as we can to get beyond that wave before it breaks. So that's this window right now. And when we get beyond where the wave is breaking, we have placed ourselves in the miraculous portal spot, the perfect energetic to do what the Harmonic Convergence Facebook page is inviting us to do. Elevate our mind, elevate our consciousness, apply all of our tools, have a very discerning practice. If we're very connected to time, have a very discerning practice right now in time. Let the distractions fall off. And allow ourselves to open to our cosmic essence, which is informing us what to align with and what not. And in that spaciousness of letting so much fall away, the most miraculous flow of synchronicities that our mind could not have imagined in any way happen. And it's happening. So for our cosmic family on the planetary body, this is the miraculous portal to align ourselves with the highest visions that we know exist within us, that we've been talking about for decades and aeons. Align with them, play with them, storyboard with them. Fill our world, surround our world with pictures and images of them, or feelings. Go into the feeling of them. Become the visions energetically. Because we promise, we guarantee, we promise that what is coming in, it's already happened, it's already here. Let's not leave ourselves like the ones duking it out at the bottom of the wave, still trying to figure it out from the emotional body, needing someone to reflect upon or project upon, figure it out from, talk to. No, use our tools. We're Jedis. We know how to do this. Get beyond the wave before it breaks. April 23rd to May 6th, the Blue Eagle Cosmic Wave. That's what we're calling it, the Blue Eagle Cosmic Wave. And open to receive the miraculous superabundance that is already here, and quotation marks, on its way. And inside of all of this, the serotonin up levels inside of us. Serotonin is key. That's why we always say the whole story about Mary Magdalene and Jesus had a daughter named named Sarah. That's the serotonin in the brain, and the amygdala is the Magdalene. It's the part of the back of the brain that was left out of all of the chakra meditations. It's the most important chakra because it is the one that casts the light. The amygdala has to light up to cast light through the first eye. Through the first eye chakra, there is no film on the screen that is original. If the amygdala does not light up, how does the amygdala light up? Because we have to get enough serotonin pumping in the body for that hindbrain to wake up and project new light. These first eyes, the whole thing about the calcification of the pineal gland has been about the crystals in the first eye have been under lockdown, hence the perpetuation of a fictional fiction that looks the same. So enough of us now are activating and holding coherently the serotonin in our physicality, in our alchemy, in such a way that it is lighting up the hindbrain, the projector itself, to project light through the first eye chakra, which is filled with piezoelectric crystals, little crystals that have a charge. And those little crystals, we've been working through our breath work and all the things we've learned to elevate our energy, to knock on the door of that pineal, to energetically unlock those crystals so that they're not under lockdown. And so that something is not using our physical bodies in such a way to perpetuate the same, what appears to be the same fictional fiction on the screen, where this is the Essenes, this is the activation of the Christos in the physical body. Easter Friday was the liberation in totality of our physicality from the bondage to the cross of time and gravity. We've been doing it step by meticulous step through the energetic cycles. Last Miracle Easter 2021 was the consciousness unlock. This year it had absorbed all the way down into the level of our physicality to unlock our physicality itself. And from the articulation of, to say, our new systems, I don't like words, processors and stuff, our new systems turned on in February. And now everything is starting to unlock. It's like, you know, the metaphor I was using when I was sharing in a transmission with Ashanti Love Pure Cosmic Bliss last night is kind of like at Christmas time, maybe you get a new computer for the kids. And then Christmas passes and boxes are still like under the tree. Everything's been opened and the relatives come and, you know, so the box with a new computer might sit there for a while and then the Christmas tree comes down. It's like February, the new gift came in. The new technology came into our form. And so maybe it sat under the Christmas tree for a while all the other celebrations were going on. And then everything got put away, and the Christmas decorations got put away, and the tree came down, kids went back to school. And while they're doing their homework after dinner, maybe the dad or the mom pulls the instructions of how to set the computer up, pulls the instructions out. That's March. And then in April 1st, even though time isn't real and doesn't exist, the instruction set came in, how to draw it in. You got to draw it in first through the perineum and then draw it up. And start knocking on the door of the cosmic Akash, because now we had prepared our physicality that we could actually begin to knock on the door of our cosmic Akash, our cosmic essence, to pierce through the veil beyond the ego for the pure source flow of our pure essence to infuse these physical forms with our divinity, which is transcendent of time and gravity. One of the words used to describe it is eternal. So all of that is now unlocked. Step by meticulous step. Not only is it happening, it's happened. It's here now. We are in the seats of our seed, our light ships. And these transmissions that are coming down are allowing us, helping us, assisting us to just like, bye-bye distractions forever. I never have to figure out another this or that. My place is to be here in coherence and focused. That's what happened for a lot of the ascending family, was losing the focus. These mechanics are that. Because there's mechanics to this physical ascension process. That's why we bliss were given the name Unity and Grace from Yogananda Babaji, because the codes of unity, grace, unity synthesizes all the information to bring it all together, to make sense, to have the epiphanies, to have the clearings, the completions in totality. Grace is the gene where the mechanics for physical ascension, that is where they are in our body. And so this transmission shares step by meticulous step, which is why we got to stay with it. We got to stay with the transmission. We got to stay with mechanics. Otherwise, the consciousness is just kind of like, yeah, this is really fun down here. I'm happy now. Great. That's not where it ends. It's now the unlocking the amygdala, the turning on the light in the head to cast through this first eye from upstairs, from the upstairs projector room of our pure source essence, to come down in the physical body and cast the light through. How did Moses part the seas? Step by meticulous step. He went through all mechanics. They're the same for everyone. To activate these mechanics, and through his head, because he had turned the projector light back on, he cast out a vision onto the blackness of space that looked very different than what the collective consciousness at the level of the ego was familiar with. What came through him was his pure source essence to cast out a vision, to ignite the miraculous in the multitudes. Because when the multitudes see a true miracle, that's when the multitudes ascend. Not all beings in nature have the codes for physical ascension in their form. It's like not every being is an elephant. Different parts of nature have different mechanics to play out for the whole. That's what the imaginal cells are. So the imaginal cell's physicality is truly opening to ascend in to our essence of creation. And that's how Moses brought a miracle in. And that miracle is at the level of oneness and wholeness. It's at the miracle of what is called the divine plan. He didn't do it to serve himself. He didn't do it to make a living. He didn't do it to impress others. It came through his physical body and his physical cells because he had dissolved in totality the egoic mechanism in the physical body itself. And that's the game. That's the process. So this blue eagle, 13 days in Gregorian time, is a miraculous coordinate to stay in alignment with all of the teachings, all of the wisdom, all of the Jedi skills we have, and to advance them. Meditate twice as long, do your yoga postures, hold them twice as long as stand in a cold shower for triple the time. Or being funny as a metaphor to say, this is a miraculous window. And as a vessel of the transmission knows the timing of things in physical time. Trains come, trains go. Portals open, portals close. In physical time. Not beyond physical time, but in physical time. Which is why we can make a choice inside. It's like if you want to make the Olympic team, are you going to go hang out with your friends at a party on Saturday night, or are you going to get to bed early and get up early to train? Is one choosing to be distracted by the same old thing, forgetfulness, 33rd gene, again and again? Or are we willing to truly risk it all for love, which is 0-point neutrality coherence? Are we truly ready to risk it all for love of something greater that has been speaking to us from within, has been drawing us forth out of the old, helping us to release and let go of old patterns, old creations that perpetuate the same suffering, the same perception of separation. It's like the universe is saying, oh, if the mothership and the Pleiadians or the Arcturians or whoever one star nation is, if the ship showed up, well, we go, no, I think I'm going to go to the bar one more time. Maybe. I wouldn't. I know which one I would choose. And each one of us has a choice. So, the invitation, don't get stuck at the end of that, at the base of that massively building wave, trying to figure it out from the mind, the emotional body, from communication. I need to talk about this one more time. I need to perpetuate my forgetfulness because I've done this again and again. The ego just says, just one more time. I just have to get in one more word. I just have to, we're going to figure this out. Nope. Not here. We Bliss retired from that role on Good Friday forever and stepped into We's cosmic essence and have been drawing that in. greatest gift. And we're so joyous and excited because we're bringing into fruition and manifestation We's fine art for the first miracle coordinate. The synthesis of my journey on the planet is finally coming into manifestation through the printing of my fine art, which holds all the codes of the journey, just like Da Vinci's art did. Because when that portal came on Good Friday and the transmission that came through me and my little human self was going, oh, this feels kind of harsh. I was like, this is the portal. The mothership is here. Are we really going to recycle around again and again? No. We love we. We love we. We thank we. We thank we for tuning in. If this love stream was inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. And there's all kinds of love streams and transmissions. Ashanti Love Pure Cosmic Bliss has been moving them all from Facebook onto the Unity Transmissions YouTube page, which we appreciate so much. So you can go to Unity Transmissions. It's in the link down below, the YouTube page. And if you like it and subscribe it, and we get 1,000 subscribers, we can do more things there, which would be cool. And if you want to contribute to these love streams via PayPal, there's a link there. Oh, and Brandon Thomas of Expanding Reality, superhero, we did a transmission which Brandon just like poetically timed for the Neptune-Jupiter conjunction and for the launch. And so the link is there as well. It's a really amazing oracular transmission. It helps to bridge the consciousness from where it's at to ascension, which is our expanded reality, which is why Brandon's show is called Expanding Reality. And why together we brought that in. Kudos to you, Mr. Brandon. So that link, if you want to watch that love stream, that podcast or webcast from Brandon's YouTube channel, the link is there. And I just, in this miraculous coordinate, want to send out my love to WePod. The beautiful, amazing, magnificent pod that has journeyed with We Bliss through these transmissions for miracle years, together creating the container for these transmissions to come into the physicality. Because when we have the container, when others hold the transmission with we, the articulation can come in and it can be spoken to the field, and the field responds, and DNA communicates non-locally. So to all of WePod who has journeyed with we love we so much. We appreciate we so much. We're gonna do some name things, and if we forget, then we're sorry. I'm a ray of light. Celestial ecstasy sparkles. Lumina. Ashanti Love Pure Cosmic Bliss. Brilliant beams of light. Singing star. Harmony Light Love. Sophia Love, Sophia Joy, Sophia Rose, and many other pod who have traveled with we for many miracle coordinates. We are so gracious filled. We love we so much. Love stream was inspiring. Please share it. That's called gifting. We love we. I love you. Have fun. If you're not having fun, don't do it, because the serotonin levels won't be high enough. If it's fun to go out dancing and go to the bar and it keeps you happy, then do it. Just, it's about joy and love. Whatever brings happiness to us right now is the shortcut when we can sustain it. If it brings joy one day and not the next, that's still the egoic roller coaster, up, down, up, down, up, down. if it brings joy in such a way that it is sustainable joy. That's the shortcut in the game. 35th gene, shortcut. It's all about serotonin. We love we so much. Aloha.